I have a question. What can you just for the context of this conversation? Can you define what you like? What is a man? Like, what is the ideal man? What does that look like?
Adult human male, but now that we understand the basic.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a man in the philosophical sense, I guess?
Correct.
Yeah. I think most people can define it a different way, but I would say what a man is to me is a man that has family as a main priority, has as well a good stance on, for example, having a foundation of success, which means monetary gain. And then I would say as well, has the integrity and leadership skills that most people want to have.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. And so, so this is what I would say is that for men today, they're getting a lot of conflicting messages on what they should be doing, right? You have one faction that is telling them that their masculinity is toxic, that it's sexist to open doors for a woman, and all these things equally as bad. And then there's kind of another faction that is telling them a couple of different conflicting messages. One is to abstain from doing some of the things that traditionally are masculine, like being aggressive in your career, growing as a professional. And then there's another faction that says, I'm just going to be blunt about it, like for lack of a better way to phrase it, like get money and bang bitches, basically, is like, that's kind of like the what I see across the internet of this masculinity.
I mean, that's a good start though.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Get money is a good start if you're trying to build a foundation for yourself as a man. Absolutely. I would argue with the bang bitches part. I'm not here to be the Puritan at all. I'm not like the morality police saying sex is bad or like don't have sex with women. Not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you become a man, when you're out of college and you need to start charting your path to become a functioning man in society. And ideally you want to be a high value man, right? You want to become something of substance. Your goal should be to meet and engage with women in a healthy way. And if that results in, mutual sexual behavior, great, do your thing. But in my opinion, in your head, you should know that what you're working towards is to build a family, because I don't think you even become a man in the real sense until you have a family. It changes you in ways that I can't really even describe. Like it turns you into a different version of yourself to where your entire life you're focused internally on what you want and chasing pleasure and chasing, various things. When you have a family, it completely flips that inside out and you become a selfless protector, provider of your clan. And so dating should be in pursuit of that. I'm not saying it should happen instantly. Maybe it takes you 5 years of dating and maybe a lot of sex happens and it's great. Like sex is great. It's fun. It's cool. But this idea that you get it out of your system and you just have sex with a bunch of women as you're, figuring out what you want to be in your life, I think is more dangerous than people think. From a brain chemistry standpoint, what you're kind of training yourself to become long term, I don't think people think about those implications.
So, okay. So let me be very clear. I think the family is the cornerstone of every thriving society. The nuclear family is absolutely needed. We believe in a nuclear family. We don't tell people to not pursue a nuclear family. However, pursuing a nuclear family in today's day and age without prerequisite experience is extremely dangerous given what you're up against. So what we tell guys is, because you asked earlier, what is a man? I think obviously duty, purpose, leadership, strength, integrity, and the ability to provision, right? And when you have all these traits together, you could be a good father. But what I want guys is to be in a position where they've experienced women, they understand women, and now they're coming to that choice on their own, right? And they're deciding to do that versus being forced into it, pressured into it, etc. Because the things that were in place before to make family an appealable pursuit for a majority of men are no longer there. I'll explain what I mean by this. Thanks to feminism, social media, the modern day world that we have now, where we live in what I call a Uber Eats type society where instant gratification is a thing, women have changed, and women have changed significantly. Not only have they changed, they've changed to a point where it's no longer in their best interest to stay within the confinements of a marriage. Now, even though I believe in marriage, right? Contrary to popular belief, people think that we just tell guys to run around and have sex with women. No, we tell them have sex with women so that you're in a position to pick the best woman. Because unfortunately, most women don't come pre-assembled. Back in the 1950s, etc., we had religion, we had society shame, we had the fear of God, etc. All these things were training wheels that kept women in line to be good, dutiful mothers, daughters, sisters, etc. But these conventions are gone. What do we have now? We have a modern day society where we tell women to be promiscuous. We tell women to go get your bag, girl. We tell women to go on OnlyFans. We tell women to make money by any means necessary, regardless of if it destroys their image. So what I'm saying is that I need guys to adapt to the new normal. And that's why I tell guys, hey, you have to have certain things in place. And I think a guy shouldn't even think about getting serious with women unless he's had sex with at least 50 partners. Now, that even though that sounds crazy, the reason why I say that is because women nowadays are more promiscuous than ever before. And if a guy isn't in a position to be able to identify women that are worthy of a serious relationship, well, he's going to get taken to the cleaners because most women have more experience with the opposite gender than men do. If I told you have a boxing match in 5 years and your opponent is going to be training every single day and knocking people out, would you train or would you just sit in the house lethargic? You'd probably train, correct? But what most guys effectively do is they sit in the house. They don't go out there and talk to more women. They don't understand female nature. They don't know how the world really works when it comes to dating and intersexual dynamics. They go into that boxing match with that person that's been training for a while and they get beat up. Why did they get beat up? Because women get training. What I mean by this is experience with the opposite gender as soon as they hit puberty. Men are hitting at them all the time. Men are telling them how to, men are trying to court them, etc. So women become very good at figuring out what the opposite gender wants, leveraging that to their advantage and able to extract resources, time, attention, etc. And most guys don't have the skills to deal with that.
I'll clarify one point. You said in today's day and age, it is no longer in the best interest of women to get married. But I think
no, to keep the marriage going.
But it is just a semantic point, right? Because I think I understand what you're saying. It absolutely is in the best interest of men and women to have a marriage going, but society pressures women in other ways and offers
they're
them,
rewarded.
Yeah, there's certain rewards like OnlyFans, which I'll just come out and say, like, OnlyFans is prostitution. It's just the digital version of modern prostitution.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say that there's like porn on the internet. Yeah. So, someone does that. People have made the argument it's digital prostitution, but there's no actual engagement between the individual. OnlyFans, literally, the men will message the woman who provide a menu of items, and then they will then pay the woman specifically to engage in an act. Like that's prostitution.
And I just want to say real quick, like I gave a very overall and general sense of what's going on in the dating marketplace and intersexual dynamics between the two genders. I'm happy to go into each one more specifically, but what I meant in that regard was women are not incentivized to keep the marriage going. Once they reach a certain threshold, maybe 5 years, 10 years, depending on the state, well, it's cheaper for me to just or I'm going to be in a better situation if I divorce him, get the money, leave, get the child support, get the alimony, whatever it may be. So women don't have the same incentives that they used to have to keep marriages going. That's why women initiate 80% of divorces in the West.
Okay, so part of my issue is a lot of this is we're speaking in generalizations, right?
Of course.
So I think, sure, but I think just like anything else, I think your experiences or your opinions are based on your experiences and what you've learned throughout your life. And I would push back to say at least telling men as a general rule that those things are true, I don't think you're doing them justice. Because
what specifically?
Well, number one, that women are not, there are not women out there who are incentivized to, like, when you build a family with a woman, and it should be very selective. You should be very, very careful of who you decide to start a family.
But that's my whole purpose, is to say most women are not necessarily going to be in that position to be worthy of a relationship. So you have to be extremely selective, because girls
but
don't come
it doesn't require you to sleep with 50 women to get to that point.
But okay, let's say it's not 50.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of women to sleep with.
60. 40.
Okay, and then
we
also,
don't know. So
now,
generally speaking, 50.
It could be 5.
Let me clarify. When I say 50, I'm not saying you're at 41. Hey, you found the right one. Hey, man, no, you still got to do 9 more, dude. You got to keep going. That's not a steadfast number. But what I am saying is, in general, right, 50 is going to put you in a position. What I'm more interested in for the guy is to have the correct mindset to assess female character and to understand female nature. And I know at around 50, you have some semblance of how women move. Because the thing is that a lot of guys don't understand that men and women are really different in how they approach relationships, how they view the world, how they deal with their emotions, etc. Most guys think women are like guys. They're not. No. They're completely different. And I want guys to have an understanding, a fundamental understanding of female nature before they get into something as serious as a marriage, where the woman can absolutely destroy them, because she has all the cards once you're married.
Yeah, but you don't need to have sex for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Once again, when it comes to dating, right, it involves everything. And sex is a big component on some level. Because if you think about it, when does it really start? You meet a girl, you go on a date, you have an experience, but that ends with what? The result is sex. Because you want to procreate. So ultimately, that's a big component of your relationship. Now, if you don't have that in place and that doesn't happen, are you really dating that person? You're not. So that is important.
The other thing too is the reason why I want guys to have that sex is because for men to be good with women and to pick the right girl, they need to have something, what I call an abundance mindset. And we don't have an abundance mindset and you're operating from a scarcity mindset. Any girl that throws you sex or gives you some type of intimacy, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna commit to her. So I want guys to know what it's like to already have had sex with women. Understand that it's not that special. I need them to get desensitized to it to a degree where they're able to assess the woman on her character versus her sexuality. So many guys make the cardinal mistake of, she's hot, she's great in bed, I'm going to commit to her. Not knowing that she's crazy, she's not a good candidate for a long-term relationship, and they get taken to the cleaners. So I just want guys to have an abundance mindset. And a lot of times when a guy isn't sexually experienced, but the girl is sexually experienced, it comes back to what I said before. If you're going to go into that boxing ring with someone that's been training for the past 10 years and they know how to deal with the opposite gender and you don't, well, she's going to finesse you. She's going to say all the right things. Oh my God, I've never felt like this before with a guy. You're not going to know how to defend against that when you don't have the same sexual experience as a woman.